Father's Day. Back on the canal after a lovely week in Croatia, and we're here at Grove Lock and we're heading that way. And as usual, Lock's against me, but never mind. Dottie's just had a little bit of a dip to cool down, as it's a very hot day today. And no news from my daughter, you know, Father's Day. She's off to see the boyfriend's parents. Anyway, let's see where we can get to today. Close to south of Fenny Stratford, and got some nice gardens. Hello, right by the river canal. Shadow. Come on, tackle that ball, Dottie. Where's the ball? Get a ball. Get a ball. Go on. Come on. That's it. What are you going to do with that ball? Ready? Ready? Come on, Dottie. Come on, you're the next. Training for the next Lions tour. Yeah. Another day out on the cuts, and we've come further up the Grand Union today. A place just short of Fenny Stratford, if you're following on the map, and Fenny Stratford is close to Bletchley, and Bletchley is now becoming an extension of Milton Keynes. Well, Bletchley is famous for The Imitation Game, a film that was out last year that you may know about, World War II, a code-breaking organisation, and that's where we're going to go today. So we're here at Bletchley Park. I've got my tour guidebook, I've got my multimedia tour guide, and we've got extensive maps. It's going to be a long day. The beauty of this place is, though, that they've you buy a ticket and it lasts a year, so you can come back any time in the year, which is fantastic. But hey, let's have a look around. So very close to Bletchley railway station. You come out of the station, turn right, and Bletchley Park's right next door. And there's the original mansion that was put up for sale just before World War II, for which the government obviously requisitioned it for use in the secrets that went on here as the code-breaking operation began in about 1940-41. So let's go take a look around. you cannot underestimate the work that was gone on here. I've been here about an hour or so, talking to some of the volunteers and just looking around at the start of this. 12,000 people worked here, 3,000 ago in shifts of 8 hours. Apparently it was very monotonous, and a lot of the wrens that worked here were going off sick, and they talked about ways of trying to lighten the load of the boredom and the sickness and the cold in the winter and the heat in the summer. But wow, you know, what Alan Turing did here and the rest of the mathematicians to shorten the war, it's an experience, and I'm glad I got a ticket that means I can come back, and I will come back to see more of this place. So behind me is the museum that the Trust operates, and it's one of the original buildings that was sort of developed and built during the war. It's great to see some of these buildings have survived, considering there's a lot of development that's gone on, and the Trust have managed to save so much of the history of this place.
We've broken the light blue.
So we heard. I think we deserve an Oscar.
What's an Oscar?
Don't you know, Professor? I thought you university types knew everything. It's an award they give in Hollywood for the best film.
Just goes to show they're never too old to learn.
So we're in Hut 6, and this is where most of the codes were broken. Hut 6 and Hut 3 are interlinked. We can have a look at that now, see what that looks like. But very hot in the summer, very cold in the winter.
7 so far. 64. I'm going to take this to the machine.
Just drop. Let's get the decoding room onto it now.
This is where you guys process the intelligence from Igma.
Yes. Once the messages are broken in Hut 6, they're passed on to the watch. The messages come in batches of between 15 and 20. They're poked through the tunnel, and the watch sort them into priority to make sure the most important messages are processed first.
I see. Neat. And the guys in the watch turn them into intelligence reports?
Look at these messages. Just coming from the light blue. So we were right.
You were dying out there.
Competing with these guys, so this is Hut 3, which deciphers the message and creates the intelligence that is required for MI5. So yeah, the centre hub of breaking what I guess the Enigma's already done and just deciphering that. So apparently most of, after the war, the Enigma machine breakers were dismantled, and the only way that Bletchley Park could, you know, reinstate everything was just on the memories of the people that served here, who of course held secrets for many, many years. So that's where my tour ends at the moment. There are a load of school kids going in the musician, so we didn't actually get to see the actual machines, but we've got a good idea. But I hope you enjoyed the little tour of Bletchley Park and the code breaking fantastic people that helped shorten the war. So how cool was Bletchley Park? Yeah, very impressed by that. I've got a ticket that which now enables me to go back anytime within the next 12 months. So I definitely want to go back. I got to a point where there's loads of school parties arriving, and I arrived 9:30 just after it opened, and it was nice and quiet. It was just me, a couple of older couples there. Got to start chatting to the staff about the invitation game. Actually, only a small part of it was made at Bletchley Park. They had to use other location services because, being a trust, they would have lost the money, and the film company weren't prepared to lose the money for hiring the Bletchley Park itself. But it's great that some of the many buildings have been preserved from the war, albeit that the fact that after the war ended, Bletchley Park disappeared and all the secrets that went with it stayed quiet for many, many years, because everybody that worked there had to sign the Official Secrets Act. But for those people that have not been to, just one of those little parts of the World War II history that ordinary people, ordinary Wrens, were involved with on a daily basis, trying to interpret these messages that the Germans were sending, to try and reduce the Allied losses, and improve the fact that the Allies needed to stop the Germans for doing what they were doing back then, and listening to the messages that Hitler was sending with all the different machines. We hear about the Enigma machine, but there were so many other machines that the Germans were using, which these guys at Bletchley were trying to figure out using mathematicians from Cambridge and Oxford, and taking already some of the work that the Polish mathematicians and scientists had done in the early attempts to decipher these secret codes that the Germans were using in their war effort. And the guys did it, and they came up with some fantastic machines. So a visit to Bletchley Park is definitely one of my recommendations if you're anywhere near the Milton Keynes area, or you just want to come out for a day in the UK, or if you're visiting from abroad, put that on your visitation list. If you're interested in World War II history, what a magical piece of history it is, and I give it 5 stars. Yeah, we are on our adventure up the north. You should see me, Dottie, and my friend Rob going through the Blisworth Tunnel. Mr. O'Keefe is in control. Mr. Heron.
I've got my cheese.